Section 7.3 is percents and decimals. I can use decimals to solve percent problems. To write a decimal as a percent, move the decimal point 2 places to the right and write a percent sign. To write a percent as a decimal, move the decimal point 2 places to the left and remove the percent sign. So, when we're talking about these guys, I always think of decimals like if I was going to write money in terms of dollars, and I think of percent in terms of cents. So that helps me remember which way to move my decimal. It's 2 places, but decimals are always going to look more like if we were to write 40 cents as a dollar, and percents are going to be like if I was going to write 40 cents as cents. So as a dollar, I'd have $0.40, and as cents, I'd have 40 cents. And these mean the same thing, and percents work the same way. So it's 2 places, either left or right, depending on what you have. So here, in example 1, we have decimals, and we need to write these as percents. So decimals are kind of like dollars. So I'm going to move it 2 spots to the right and add my percent sign. Same thing here. I'm going to put my decimal in where it is, move it 2 spots to the right, and add my percent sign. So 1 in terms of dollars is 100 in terms of cents. 2.3, again, I'm going to move 2 spots and 230%. So decimals start off kind of like dollars, and we move percents to be like cents, like if we were going to list it just with a cent sign. In example 2 here, we have percents. Now we want to write them as decimals. So I move my decimal place 2 spots just in the other direction. 0.75, and I get rid of my percent sign. Okay, this is like if I were to write it as dollars, I'd have $0.75 instead of 75 cents. Okay, same idea here, 2 decimal places, add in a 0. So 0.004. 2 decimal places, remember our decimal's at the end if we don't see one, and we move it 2 spots, 1, 2, 1.68. So here I'd have 168 cents, which is more than $1, so we'd have $1.68. Okay, same idea here, we have 1.68. So 2 to the left to go from a percent to a decimal, 2 to the right to go from a decimal to a percent. Go ahead and pause here, give these a try. Write the decimal as a percent or the percent as a decimal. Here I have a decimal, which is like writing in terms of dollars, 2 spots to the right. And I have 46.1%. 5, again, we move our decimal 2 places, 1, 2, add our zeros, 500%. 1.9, 2 places, 1, 2, 190%, just like cents. And we go from decimals like dollars to percents like cents in change. And here I'd have 0.7%. Now we're going to go from a percent to a decimal. So 27%, I'm just going to go in the opposite direction. So decimal place 2 spots, and I have 0.27. Other direction, with percents, we're going to go 2 to the left, 1.84. Again, just like if I had 184 cents, I'd write it as dollars, just like decimal, 1.84. 2 spots, and be careful here. If there's not a number in front, we just add a 0 with that decimal. And another place to be careful here is when our decimal is in front of our percent. So here I have 0.0055. Less than 1% is like less than 1 cent, less than a penny. So our 00 spots, like in our dollars, are left open. Fractions, decimals, and percents. A fraction, a decimal, and a percent can all represent the same number. We can write a fraction as a percent by first writing the fraction as a decimal, and then switching it over. So 3 over 8 is the same as 3 divided by 8. When we divide there, we're going to get 0.125. Top divided by bottom. Now, to write that as a percent, we move it 2 places, and we get 12.5%. Here, we're going to take 5 divided by 3. We type it in our calculator the same way it's written. So first we see a 5, and then divide by, and then 3. Here, I'm going to get 1.666666, repeating. So to write that as a percent, I move it 2 places, 166.6, repeating. Go ahead and pause here to give these a try if you'd like. First thing we're going to do is we're going to divide 7 divided by 8, which is going to give us 0.875. Fraction to decimal, 2 places, decimal 2%. We're going to take 5 divided by 12, which is 0.416666, repeating. Now, decimal to a percent, 2 places, 41.6%. 11 divided by 6 is going to give me 1.83, repeating. Decimal to a percent is 2 places, add in our decimal and our percent sign. So 183.3, repeating, percent. 5 divided by 4 is going to give me 1.25. Now to go from a decimal to a percent, 2 places, and add our percent sign. Our decimal's there. We wouldn't need it in that particular situation, but you can definitely put it. Here, we're going to use decimals to try and solve this. So 10.5% is the same as 0.105. Of in math means times and 5,600. So from here we can just type that right in our calculator and we're going to get 588. So again, if we switch from a percent to a decimal, of means times our total there, and we get 588. Same idea here. Feel free to pause and give these a try. 20%, 2 places, is 0.20. This 0 we wouldn't need, but you can have it. Of means times 85. When we multiply here, we're going to get 17. 2 places, 0.038 as a decimal. Of means times 45. This is going to give me 1.71. 125%, 1.25. Of means times 64. It's going to give me 80. 2 places again. 0.005 of means times 600, and I get 3. Check your answers along the way. Do these make sense? In 15, for example, we needed over 100% and our number was bigger. In 16, we had less than 1%, a very small amount, of 600 is 3. And so those seem reasonable. 17, in a survey of 1,100 adults, 2% chose cooking as their favorite leisure activity. How many adults chose cooking? So we want to know what is 2% of 1,100. 2 places, of means times 1,100, and here we get 22 adults. And that's all we have for section 7.3.